Okay, hello, hi. Okay, this is my first motovlog. I'm trying this out for the first time. Been wanting to do it for quite some time now. So this is my first attempt. Okay, so the reason I could do this is because I'm riding a scooter. So I've transited from riding a motorcycle to now a scooter. So it is my second bike. So it's much more convenient to do this sort of things. It's more relaxed and you can mount a lot of more accessories to do these kind of things, right? And the multitasking is much better compared to a motorcycle because scooter you just have to twist the throttle and go. You have all the gear shifts and stuff like that. Okay, so it's easier and more relaxed, of course. They have a comfortable seat and the posture is good. Yeah. So I just recently bought a scooter. I just did a short review on the new scooter. So I bought a new one from the store. So it's a Yamaha X Max 300. It's a very popular scooter in Southeast Asia, in Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia. So there's like a ton of them. So it's like the workhorse, the Class 2A workhorse. So this is a 300cc scooter. So it's very reliable, very practical for commute purposes and stuff like that. Yeah, so I bought it for that sole purpose. So my intent was to initially get a Vespa. So I went to the shop. I was looking at a Vespa 300, and then this scooter caught my eye. So I've decided on this scooter eventually, after some deep thought and conversation with the boss lah. So how my thought process actually went through was that the Vespa, as explained by the shop owner, is more of a lifestyle bike, lifestyle scooter. Sorry, yeah. So as for lifestyle wise, I currently I own a Street Fighter V4S. So that is more of like a similar category. So like a lifestyle kind of motorcycle whereby over the weekends you go for Sunday breakfast ride, or on Friday nights you go to Denzi in Singapore to chill out and meet up with like-minded people and community to talk about the motorbikes and stuff like that. So it's more for like a lifestyle kind of purpose. Not so much practical for if let's say you want to use it to go grocery shopping or like to pillion people in the Singapore city traffic. Yeah. So the Vespa is good in city traffic, just that the boot space is pretty limited and the pillion space was pretty limited as well. So it's quite a small space on the seat, the rear seat for the pillion. So after I looked at it, I was like, no, I wouldn't want two lifestyle bikes. One is enough. I don't have so much time to go and meet up with so many people to talk about bikes each week or so. So I was looking more to something more practical. So practicality in Singapore, you can have a few options. You can one drive a car. It's very practical, and also a scooter. So I was deciding between a car and a scooter actually. So I've recently just gotten my license after a while. So my hand was a bit itchy lah. So I was like, oh, should I get a car? Look at the cars in the market. So after doing some math and finances, it's really not practical, especially in Singapore, where the COE price itself is about 120 over thousand, whereas the car price is like 40,000. So it's quite pretty ridiculous. So reasons to get a car in Singapore, how I see it is that I'll look at the top 3 reasons that people want to get a car in Singapore. Number one is family. Family as in you have like kids. So kids, to ferry kids around in the morning, it can be very helpful to have a car, especially if you need to go to multiple places. If you have 2 kids, one you need to send to your in-laws place, and then the next kid you need to send to the school, and then next you send your wife to work, and then you yourself you go to work. So if you have multiple places to go to multiple drop-offs to make every morning, it makes sense to get a car as compared to, let's say, alternative modes of transport, like public transport, or let's say taking a taxi or Grab, for example. So it's much more, I would say, economical. Economical is one, and more convenient also. Yeah. So that's one family can buy a car, or I would even consider leasing it actually for that case. But anyway, number two would be more of if, let's say it's for work, like let's say real estate, or doing like delivery, or like ride hailing. So that's where your car becomes an asset, right? So it sort of generates revenue for you. For me, rather, yeah. So it's a thought process. So it generates revenue in a sense that it serves as like a workhorse. We use it for our work. It's like a tool. It's like a programmer's laptop, for example. So it generates revenue. So it's an asset. Or it can be like let's say like a membership card, especially if you're into, let's say, so-called lifestyle cars and luxury cars, like the supercars of Singapore. So there are some of these clubs, and then you get access to a wider network of individuals. So those help with networking. So those are, like, I see it as like a country club membership cards, and stuff like that help networking. So those are, I would see it as for work, or delivery or whatnot. So those are assets, right? So that's the second main reason to get a car, which currently I'm not in any of those categories. And then the third one would be for me, passion, like pure passion, like just love driving around. So there are some like enthusiasts, car enthusiasts that really love driving. So they get a car to modify it and stuff like that. So that's the third category. But then again, in Singapore, roads are pretty much, not the most fun to ride or drive in, I would say, because of so many traffic lights. So I don't fall into that category as well. So those are the top few reasons to get a car. So I sort of rationalize it, like, of course, from time to time, a car would be good if, by any chance, my circumstance fall into those categories. That's where the renting model comes in, right? So now I believe those businesses do their market research and all. There are a couple of car rental companies in Singapore. There are more coming up, like Chariot, Blue SG. They have, I think Lumens is also another one, and GetGo. So there are more and more of these companies coming up because, they did their market research, affordability-wise, not exactly the most affordable, and then the utility for most people, I would say the car is in the car park 90% of the time or so, so utility is kind of low. So, that means that the market could be quite ripe for this new model to kick in. The utility of these cars can potentially be increased by renting it out and stuff. So anyway, so I was looking at the renting model, right? So currently that works really well for me. I've tried it a couple of times. So what I usually do is that in some of those instances whereby, let's say I want to take my family out, and I go drop off because I would ride my scooter. I don't have to. I just ride my scooter to the location that the car is. So why I have to do that? Because GetGo. I'm using GetGo because I'm still under probation, so I got my license less than a year. So most companies wouldn't want to rent me their car. Yeah. So I had to use GetGo, which is not bad. So they have a wide variety of cars to choose from. So I mean, I just have I would just like to try different types of cars each time, and we have to go to different places to get them. So it's a point A to point A model that get gold users, meaning to say that when you rent a car from point A, ultimately the ending destination would have to be the same point A as well. So it's unlike the blue SG, for example, where you can rent from point A and then you just have to find another location with a blue SG station. Then you can park the car there. So it's like point A to do something like that. So this means that those cars, like let's say I want to rent a Mazda 3 hatchback, for example, and I have to go to Tampines car park around the box there to get it. That means that it lives, so-called lives there. So every time I want to rent a Mazda 3 hatchback, I have to go to the Tampines, same block. Yeah. So this means that to choose certain cars, they have access to like luxury cars as well. Luxury cars like your BMW 5 Series, or you can have your Mercedes E200. So those cars are quite rare. I mean, they're fleet. We can choose to rent them, but if we go to that location. So, for example, the E200 is at somewhere near Woodlands or Triple Eight Plaza, near Triple Eight Plaza, one of the car parks, and whereas the BMW 5 Series is near Bedok area, if I'm not wrong. So what I do is that I would choose the car. If time is not an issue and stuff, then I would just ride my scooter down to the car park where the car lives, and then I'll rent it from there. So I will go and try out the car, drive around, bring the family around, then I'll just, at the end of the day, I'll just go back to the car park, park the car, and then I'll ride my scooter back. Of course, I'll drop off the family members first. Yeah. So that's the current model that I'm using. So it's a sort of a hybrid transport model. Because the utility for the car, at least for me, it's pretty low, so I can afford to use this model. Yeah, so that's the reason. Back to my decision between to buy a car or a scooter. So that's the reason I got a scooter instead of a car, because it didn't really make financial sense to me because of the reasons that I mentioned earlier, the three. None of those. So why a scooter? Because my motorbike, the consumption, you see it's like a lifestyle kind of motorbike. The consumption is pretty bad. So the consumption is on average, it's about 13 kilometers per liter. So the fuel tank is just not really big. It's about 16 liters. So what happens usually is that at a mileage of about 130 kilometers, my reserve light will turn on. So it's pretty. If you drive or ride, it's a pretty pretty ridiculous range. Of course, that bike is meant for the track, so at least if you're riding on the street, Singapore, 130 reserve is it come every day, or every 2 days or so. So to put things into perspective, the scooter right now, the one that I'm riding, you can go up to 380 or so before going into reserve. So we're going to get about three times more efficient than my other bike. Yeah. So cars, all those, you can easily go probably 400, 500 kilometers before you have to pump. Yeah, so that's not the norm. So the lifestyle bike, that's not really something, but I like it. I like the sound of it, the looks of it, and also it's more of like a fun machine, So a fun machine and like a networking machine. So that bike for me falls into the third category, like a passion and enjoyment, fulfillment kind of asset for me. So that's the bike. So from time to time, I find myself, having to commute here and there, and I really enjoy riding. It's just that in Singapore, with that kind of bike, it burns a hole in the wallet, lah, and also the heat and all. It's not really that practical. So if I want to travel and scoot around, especially in my new area, my new home area, whereby certain coffee shops and places that I would like to go to is quite a distance away. It would be helpful if I have something like a scooter lah. Yeah. So that's why I decided to get like a scooter. A scooter for this purpose. Yeah. So now I have two motorcycles and two bikes. One motorcycle, one scooter to feed monthly. I can feel a bit of a pinch, but for now it's still manageable. It's still manageable. But if like sooner down the road, eventually I'm still thinking. I'm always having that temptation. Hey, there are some instances where I wish that I had a car, like especially when fetching my family, like my wife, because I mean, riding a bike is not for everyone, I would say. I mean, some because you get exposed to the elements, so the sun, the dust, and the rain and the posture, the fatigue, and everything. So and the wind, the sound. So there are many things that you get exposed to when riding as compared to driving. So for my wife, she gets sunburned very easily. So riding in the day under the hot sun is not too much of an option for me lah. So sometimes when we leave, we take a cab or the train, public transport. So bike is not utilized in these situations. So far it's manageable. The Singapore's public transportation system is quite comprehensive, except with the exception of some areas like one north area, Kentridge area, for example, where from the north, the west, the east, heading to that area via public transport is pretty much, I would say, 1.5 hours on average to get to that area, as compared to, let's say, riding a scooter, which takes about 20 minutes or so from the west. So we're looking at 2-3 times the duration of certain location. So it's not that developed yet, the infrastructure. So apart from those areas, it's quite okay to take public transport. So but the problem is, my wife's workplace lies in those areas, so that's a consideration for me to does it make sense to get a car for this purpose. But even so, it's not that practical. I mean, we calculated to take a cab every day, taxi to and fro from work. It's still cheaper than owning a car, so she can practically take a Grab every day to work and back, and it's still cheaper than owning a car in Singapore. Can you imagine that? Although like now, those Grab prices they are increasing. So for the past 2 years or so, heading back from my place to her place 2 years ago was around $21. Around the same time every week, so the weekend. But now, 2 years later, we are looking at $28 or $28 each. So it has increased as well. Still not as bad as the fuel prices are also increasing somehow. Yeah, so some ways, some tips to save costs. In such situations is that there's some Grab Hitch, there's this feature, Grab Hitch, whereby you can hitch a ride lah. So for someone who let's say works in the same area, then you can hitch a ride and then the person to work, and it's just a fraction of the cost. So it's good for the person to cover some of the full costs like if you have to hitch a ride or him out. Yeah. So that's one option that one can explore. That's like the transportation such areas. Yeah. So another thing that I use this scooter for is I try to use it as an asset lah. I mean, the top three things that I mentioned: family, work, and passion. So I'm trying to use it a bit for work because this scooter is one of the more common and popular ones. At least in Singapore that people use for Grab. I mean the 2A ones lah. I mean the class 2A scooters. Because of its efficient fuel consumption, its maneuverability and stuff. So it looks a good candidate for food delivery. So I signed up for some food delivery services like Grab and Foodpanda. So I've been trying that out for a couple of weeks. So far, I found it quite enjoyable. I mean, at least for me, because I enjoy riding. But for some people, I mean, it may not be that enjoyable because you are, like I said, you get exposed to all those elements on the road. And then one thing, I mean, doing it for work, like riding for 10 hours a day, it really intensifies the whole experience. Like for example, like sunburn, I really felt it because I didn't have the proper gear lah to protect my arms, so I really felt it. The dust, I could really feel my throat getting itchy because being exposed to the road dust for 10 hours a day on the road, it really had an impact on the throat. So these are some of the things that I experienced as well. Also like fatigue, boredom at traffic lights. So there's a lot of traffic lights. So it's like over a while you get a bit impatient, especially in the 8th or 9th hour where the patience and the energy is all low. That's where I feel it becomes dangerous because I started to see myself getting more impatient and frustrated while waiting for the lights, and so I mean using it for work is a whole different experience altogether. But in terms of returns, it's pretty, sustainable, I would say. Sustainable in the sense that if you're, let's say, you're single and just working for yourself to survive, all those, I think it can sustain an individual in Singapore's cost of living. Barely. It's just sustain only. So why do I say so? These earnings from all these food delivery companies, after doing it for a while, I found that they tend to peg it to like a benchmark. So what do they peg to? What's the baseline or benchmark that they peg it to, right? Is the average part-time worker's salary in Singapore. So if you do part-time in Singapore, the market rate, from there's this site, I forgot the name, where there's a list of part-time workers actually for. It boils down to about, I would say on average $14-15 an hour, Sing dollars per hour for part-time workers. So no matter, I've been doing it for a while for Grab and Foodpanda, both of them, if you average out, including the incentives and whatnot, it boils down to around the same range, about $15 an hour. Right? So it's almost similar to those typical part-time jobs. The main difference is that for those part-time jobs, you don't have all these additional costs to worry about, such as your fuel, your vehicle servicing, so your servicing of the assets, and some even have to cover rental because some people actually rent their motorcycles to do delivery. So you have to factor in all those costs as well. For me, this motorcycle consumption is about 35 kilometers per liter on average. This 300cc in Singapore, small roads, not going to say highway, so a mix of, I would say 80% small roads, 20% highway. It's about 35 kilometers per liter. So when I pump, I'm looking at the cost. I'm talking about the cost now. So when I pump, it's around, I can get about $2 per liter for petrol cost. So how I got the $2 was that in this Sinopec station, they have a partnership with Grab. So I'm a Grab partner, so we get like 25% discount and further additional X% per liter afterwards. So you can go up to like 30% discount from the usual rate. So I would think it's around $2, $2.20 per liter for 95. I come 95. So if you look at the earnings, the food delivery earnings, for every like an hour $15, about 15% of that goes to petrol. So if you're gonna add in the servicing, we have to do quite frequently, every 2 weeks or so, because the mileage accumulates really quickly. So I would say around 20% would be the cost. 20% would be the cost in this job, part-time job. So if you earn $100 a day, $15 or $15 to $20 goes to your petrol servicing. So if you net it up, it could be less than your usual part-time, work in Singapore, where you just have to pay your transportation costs pretty much instead of all this servicing like the restaurant waiter, for example, is also $50 an hour. But unless you really enjoy it, you can consider. Of course, some of those other part-time jobs require certifications on how, if you have certifications to handle food, etc. So it might have some hurdles. So I believe that's the reason that some people found it easier to start with all these food delivery services, because you just need a bicycle and a motorbike and license, and that's, the barriers to entry are pretty low. Yeah. So I've been using this as an asset. I mean, to sort of fund the fuel. I mean, it earn its own food. So some time investment on my side, some additional pocket money. Every now and then. So for me, how I see it is more of like, a joyride, a rounding, like a joyride here and there, because I really enjoy riding. So some weekends I will just ride around Singapore aimlessly, just to see the scenery here and there, and also to charge the bike's battery and stuff. So with this food delivery quest or incentive approach, it gives more meaning and purpose to riding, in Singapore. So at least you provide some value to people, you deliver food to them, and at the same time, you get to enjoy the ride, explore new areas. You can choose regions in Singapore. So it's a win-win situation for me, and also walking around, it helps me to exercise, get out of the house a bit, walk around a bit, instead of just sitting at home in a chair. So I feel that it's good part-time once in a while. So to do this part-time, if you have a full-time job, it can be a bit difficult for Foodpanda, unless you are doing it on the weekends, because they have a shift 4-hour block or so, then one usually blocks out. So your whole 4 hours is committed to the delivery service. Yeah, so it's committed to the delivery service. Whereas for Grab, you can have the option to do it on demand. So when the dash job can come in, you can turn off and on whenever you're free or not. So the commitment is lower. You're not locked into that 4-hour block as compared to Panda. And for Panda, most of the time, if it's like 4-hour block login, it's almost back to back delivery. So there's not much time to, I mean, if you're really following the algorithm, you wouldn't have much time to take a break and stuff like that. Yeah. So weekend wise, I mean, I've tried, typically if we work all the incentives for Foodpanda, I mean, we get you work 2 days, and then to give them what they want. The algorithm have something like complete 10 orders each day, then you get an extra $40 if you work on Saturday and Sunday in Yishun area or Tampines area. So if you count all those in, I would say it's possible to get about $300 if you work both days, Saturday and Sunday, gross. So if you net out calculations of about 20%, then that will be about 240 lah. So sorry, 240, 300, yeah, 240. There are all these costs involved as well. Yeah, so all those in, that's about 240 for the weekends. So we are talking about almost close to the whole day of weekends. Yeah. So that's sort of the number. I mean, for me, I tried that once just to see how it's like, and also at that time I was running in the engine. So this X-Max is pretty durable. I mean, I've been running the engine for quite long periods or long durations straight. It still handles it quite well. I mean, it's still smooth. It's still the idling and all is still good because it's partly because also it's new lah. Yeah, so it's quite a durable workhorse if you are considering to get one. So I've also did the review lah of this X-Max, which y'all can check it out. So I'm currently near to the location of the get-go car that I'm looking to rent, waiting on the traffic light. So this, how I chose the location was that because it's point A to point A, I have to choose it like strategically, meaning to say that let's say if I'm going to someone else's place, at the end of the day, the drop-off point, my ending destination, right? If it's close to the ending destination of my passengers, like my family members, so what I'll do is that I will rent it close to the destination where they live. So after I drop them off, I just have to go around and drop the car off, and then I can scoot back on my own. So that will help to save costs lah, because the pricing model for this get-go is by the hour and by mileage. So by the hour is about, let's say for normal standard cars, about $6. There's a premium, I think it's $9, and the luxury is about 2 times more, $12. So what this means is that if I rent the car and I go out and eat, like go out for dinner, right? So while the car is parked outside the restaurant for 2 hours, for example, I'm paying like $12 for a standard car just for it to sit by the restaurant and while we have dinner. So those are like the costs involved by the hour. right? So that's fine, that's fine. I just have to optimize it, right? The driving, which I'll get to that later. So that's one cost. The other cost is that it's based on mileage, so it's based on mileage, about 30 to 40 cents per kilometer, which is, I would say, quite okay, reasonable for a car, because I calculated for my X-Max it's about 8 cents per kilometer, and this is a bike. So if we multiply the consumption, 35 kilometers per liter, then a car would likely be around, I mean, about 10 or so, about 3 times, so it's about 30 cents ish per liter, per kilometer. So that's pretty okay. That's pretty okay. So I have to factor that in as well lah. So these are the pricing models of the get-go. So why I park near to the destination, because after I drop all my family members off, the car's purpose is done. The utility is already settled. It's done. So I don't need it to go incur any costs, because it will just be me in the car. So I want to drop it off as soon as possible. Okay, so that's why whenever I do this, I will rent the car as close as possible to the destination that I'm going. Yep, so right now I'm at the east side, and here I'm just looking to rent a standard car lah. I mean, it's for family to pick them up. But when one day I would like to try the BMW 5 Series around this area, just to have a joyride in it lah. So that's where I fully utilize the hourly cost rate lah. So it's every, by the hour, I really, like every hour I'm in the car I'm using it. Yeah. So that's what I plan to try later. But yes, now I'm looking just to rent a standard one. Yep. So yeah, that's all. I've reached my destination here, and I will catch you guys again. And I hope some of these musings have been useful for you guys. All right, peace out.